So I asked my wife what would be a good vlog topic for the vlog because it's kind of difficult thinking about vlog topics while running a shop. And to my surprise, she actually took me very seriously. So we're gonna listen to her on her ideas. Okay, so what are your vlog topics?
Biker starter kit. That's all!
No, you have the whole spiel.
No, because like for girls, like when you talk about skincare or like makeup, like I get hooked onto those vlogs or like mga short videos about like if you were to get into skincare, like what are the must-haves? Like non-negotiable must-haves.
So for my bike vlog, what's the title of the video? What should it be?
Like, I don't know. Your bike must have, or like a biker's must haves, or something like that. Right, Miles? Ay, nako. Anyways.
What did you say? What did you say about? So
No,
so a customer went in,
Yeah,
and this is what my wife.
Yeah.
This is what my wife observed.
Yeah, very observant. No, because he was talking about like how his bike doesn't fit him well, and that, you know, he asked Carlo if he was selling a saddle because he feels like it could be the saddle. Then apparently Carlo said that, you know, it's probably not the saddle. It's probably like you should probably get your bike fit first to see, you know, where kailangan i-adjust ang bike, and you'll probably find out it's not the saddle. People, diba, you said, were telling you that when you were starting out, when you were biking, kapila sila ni palit og saddle niya. Pila ba yun na ang saddle? You'll be spending so much money. Diba, wives, your husbands, or mga girls, your partners, sige silang gasto on their bike. So, if they were to spend on something, it should be something that it's like a must-have on their bike. Or what are the things that you should be looking into when you're getting into cycling? So, important would be kato, like the bike fit. Like if you're already getting into the cycling already, you should consider setting aside a budget to have a bike fit. Kaysa magsige sila palit-palit og parts, mura day gihapon, magsakit na gihapon ilang lawas. Diba?
True. So difficult holding this camera and a baby. Just finished the villain ride. You know, I might do that. I might do that video idea that Steph had. So here's the basic stuff you need for your bike. So we already talked about a bike fit, so I added a number of a local fitter that we have here in Cebu, and I feel like that's pretty important for new cyclists to have. So next though, I feel like most cyclists need a helmet, helmets like this, other things like lights, tools, inner tubes, and more importantly, the ability to change the inner tube in their tire. I feel like that should be in your biker starter kit. What does biker starter kit even mean? Of course, you should also have comfortable clothing for your cycling. I like to do a cycling jersey with bib shorts. The bib shorts that we have like pockets in the back here. But other people like cycling jerseys. That's cool too. I also wear cycling jerseys. But basically, just make sure you have comfortable clothing on the bike. Then another essential that I think every cyclist should have is a water bottle, because you're gonna want to drink water while you're on your bike ride. And actually also, you should probably learn what kind of food to take during your bike rides. I like chocolates. Everybody's different. Good pair of shades as well. That's gonna block the glare from the sun and the wind from your eyes. I used to ride without shades and my eyes started twitching from the dust on the road. So I use shades all the time now. And lastly, you should have a good pump. Good pump at home and a good pump on your bike. I'll make more videos if I think of something.
Normal.
So here's something that I just discovered because of Kenneth. So when you go small ring to small ring, and I just assumed that it always made a sound just like this. But you can half press the front derailleur. Wait. So you'll half press it.
Normal.
And then there's no more sound anymore. I did not know that. Learned something new today. Like a bike starter kit. Like if you are new to cycling, what should you have?
MTB 27.5 wheel size.
So if you were a new cyclist and then you're gonna choose an MTB 27.5 wheel size, why?
Dili kay kapoy. Kuno. Unlike sa 29, uphill kay lisod yun siya si Karen.
So if it's gravel, you should be also like 650B.
Oh, gravel, okay ra 29. 700.
Okay, 700 for you. I'm curious ko sa mong perspective. So after asking Kenneth his opinion on what like a bike starter kit should be, which by the way is a very ambiguous question. It could mean anything. And he surprised me with his answer that he started talking about specific bikes. And that got me thinking, what is a good starter bike for somebody? And I actually have a few opinions on this, especially since, we opened this store. In many ways, this store is designed for the starter cyclist in mind. It shows with the stuff that we've decided to sell. I still need to stock lights and stuff also, but a lot of the stuff that we have decided to stock are for beginner cyclists in a sense that they need to buy these things if they decide to get into cycling. But also, it even shows in the types of bikes we've decided to stock. So one of the big reasons why I decided to stock traction bikes is because, number one, it's not a super expensive bike. It's not a super cheap bike as well. You can get like super cheap bikes, but I noticed there's a tendency for like small things to break, and I wanna release bikes that I am personally proud of, and I think the traction bikes deliver in that sense. Number one, it's a gravel bike, which I feel like is, generally speaking, a very good starter bike. We have the Compass and the Grit traction bikes in the shop. They are a little bit more upright, especially compared to my Surly and my Canyon. And the fact that they are gravel bikes makes them a lot easier to ride than a road bike. Like you could get a hardtail mountain bike as well. I think it's just a personal preference. For me, I like going on the road. I like drop bars. I like having different hand positions. So I prefer a gravel bike. But I think an XC mountain bike is also a really good choice for a starter bike. Of course, when we're talking about starter bikes, budget also matters. And it's hard to talk about budget because everybody's disposable income is different. Some people wouldn't bat an eye putting down 200,000 pesos on a bicycle, and other people will have a hard time with 10,000 pesos. So it really depends. And I feel like the traction bikes currently is like this nice little midpoint where it's not the cheapest bikes, but also you're not spending an arm and a leg to get a bike. I really think about it in terms of my first geared bike was a Jamis Renegade. It was more than I wanted to spend for a bike, but also it was not too expensive. I think back then in 2018, I think it was, I spent 24,000. And currently these traction bikes are at 35,000, somewhere there. So it's not a big leap. Yeah, I want to talk more about the traction bikes eventually, but I want to talk about it with more experience, especially since we're building this one up. Remember that bike? Yep. We're building it up very soon. It's going to be fairly similar to the stock traction build. So this bike is going to be the shop bike. We're going to sell it, but also at the same time, we are going to use it so that we have actual experience with the bike. I am very excited to get this thing together. Maybe in a future video. Alright, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, bye!